Hello everybody, how is it going? And welcome to another episode of Amps and the X3. Today we are going to be checking out the legendary Bogner Ecstasy 20th Anniversary Edition. Guys, if this is the first time you've been here, or if you've been here before, make sure you are subscribed as I go over lots of cool stuff here on the channel. Okay guys, let's jump right into the Bogner Ecstasy. So, we're going to be looking at 4 different ones, all going to be from the 20th Anniversary. We're going to have the blue modern, blue vintage, red modern, and red vintage. For everything today, we're going to be using, I are using a lot of stuff, the GGD Zilla Oversized 412 with a UKV30 with an SM57 on it. The drive, we're only going to be using that on the red channel, and that's going to be the precision drive with some fairly moderate settings on it there. And for the cab, let me show you here. Got the proximity smoothing right there, room and air. Pretty similar settings to a lot of the other amps that we've looked at on here. So let's dive into the Ecstasy and let's check it out. So the Ecstasy, also known as the XTC, it's been around for a while and it's had a couple different revisions, but the specific one we're going to be looking at is going to be the 20th Anniversary one. The Bogner, this amp's actually loved by a lot of people, and surprisingly enough, I really like it in the XFX3. It's really smooth and it's really cool. So the real amp has 3 different channels, and it has a green, blue, and red channel. Clean is green, blue is a crunch, and the red is the quote-unquote lead channel. But you can also use that for rhythms, like I did in the intro. And that's how it's voiced out. So we don't have the green channel in there. It's just a clean channel. It's kind of redundant. I noted from Cliff in here. This is coming from the X Amp Guide. I'm going to put a link to that in the description down below so everyone can check that out. The thing with Bogners is that the way that the pots are set is you have to like really crank them or really turn them down to kind of get what you want. So as you're going to see in the knobs right here, Cliff says, dial it in with your ears, which anytime you're dialing in an amp, dial it in with your ears, not necessarily looking at the knobs. Like, don't be afraid to crank them all the way. Crank it till you get the sound that you want. So, as you can see, my settings in here may be a little bit extreme, but that's because I'm going for a particular sound. So, that's pretty much it when it comes to actual information about the Ecstasy. Let's actually check it out. So, the way I'm going to roll through it is I'm going to roll through it the same way that it is in the XFX. You have Euro Blue, which is, it's the vintage. So this is the vintage, and then the moderns are obviously going to be the modern. So for the blue vintage, I kind of tried to dial this one in, sort of like a would a clean tone, kind of, because I find that's how it works best. So I'm using my Tom Anderson Cobra S with an HC1 in the neck and an HC3 in the bridge, those are Anderson pickups. And I'm going to put it on my single coil position, and I'm going to show you how I dialed this in. So it's kind of a clean sound. It has a little bit of grit on it, which that's kind of what I've been kind of going towards lately, like clean sounds with some grit. Now it's not, it could use some like reverb and delay on it. It could definitely use that to clean up, but I find it has a good basis for like sort of like a, not a pristine clean, but like a, you know, a clean with a little bit of dirt on it. And when I go to the bridge pickup, since the bridge pickup's a little hotter, you get kind of that crunch thing going on. It's like it's light and it's a little bit dirty, but you can still do it on the vintage channel. The difference between the modern and the vintage is that the modern has like a lot more gain and the vintage is a little bit more stepped back. Now, let's move on to the blue modern. As you can see, I did dial them in a little bit differently. The modern one, it has a little bit more balls on it, I guess you could say. I like the blue modern, kind of set it in a light crunch mode. I kind of vibe with the modern modes a little bit more. I don't know why. I do like the vintage ones too, but I don't know. I vibe with the moderns. I really like the blue modern. It kind of reminds me of like you can get a nice crunch on it, but it isn't like over the edge. Like it's a nice like gentle crunch. Am I making sense? It's, you know, if you're looking for kind of like a light rock. So let's move on to the red mode. The red mode is kind of set up for leads, basically. That's kind of what it's set up for. It has tons of gain, but I actually kind of used it for some rhythm, actually. I really like the red vintage mode. It's really sweet. The modern has a lot of gain on it. That mode is definitely something that you could use for some leads. But as you can see, I have the mids and the treble cranked up on here. I forgot to show you this to you guys. Let's bounce back to these channels real quick. So for my output EQ, I didn't touch it on the blue vintage. Lightly pulled some mids out for the blue modern. Lightly pulled some mids out for the red vintage, and I pulled a little bit more for the red modern. I find that this amp's voiced really well, especially in the XX. I haven't played the real one, but from what Yek was saying, he used to own one, and he says that the voicings from the real amp to here transitioned very well. So, and I really like it. Like the mid setup on it is really nice. You don't have to pull a lot of it out. It can get a little bit bassy, but that's why I'm running the bass low, and I find this thing sounds pretty nice when you crank the mids. I have the treble up right here, but I also don't have any presence, so I was kind of balancing it out. And then for the red modes, I kind of I turned the master volume down a little bit. You can even just turn down the gain a little bit, and once you do that, you get kind of more of like a little dialed back type of tone there. And now let's move on to the red modern. This thing has a lot of gain. This one is really good for leads. Like I was saying before, since it has so much, I'm gonna move to my neck pickup now. Since it has so much gain on it, it's perfect for leads. Now I did dial this in with my bridge pickup, excuse me. I dialed in with the bridge pickup, so when I move to the neck, the output is a little bit down. Notice if you turn the drive up a little bit here. You get a little bit more spank on it, you get a little bit more drive on it, which helps you whenever you're doing leads. Like I was saying before, for the precision drive, I just kind of left it like that. Let me let you hear what both of these sound like without the precision drive. Kind of using to clean them up a little bit, get rid of that nasty low end that I really didn't care for. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up on the XTC 20th anniversary. I really like this amp a lot. It's very smooth, and I didn't have to fight it. I guess that's why I like it so much. I didn't have to fight it, dial in the tone. It's really good. If you haven't really checked it out before, I know people like me who like high gain tend to gravitate more toward the Bogner Uberschall. I knew I had a few friends who owned the Ecstasy before, but I had never really like played on it a lot, but I really like it in here. Alright guys, if you thought this video was cool, leave me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. If you aren't subbed, guys, you really should consider it, because we got some cool stuff that goes on here. Don't want you to miss it. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have to be out. Peace.